For Pacifica Radio, I'm Teresa Wierzbianska. An Israeli and U.S.-backed group has temporarily paused food delivery at its 3 distribution sites in Gaza. That came after health officials said dozens of Palestinians were killed in a series of shootings near the sites this week. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation said today it was in discussions with the Israeli military on better guiding foot traffic near the sites and enhancing military procedures. Jeremy Lawrence is a United Nations human rights spokesperson.
The willful impediment of access to food and other life-sustaining relief supplies for civilians may constitute a war crime. The threat of starvation, together with 20 months of killing of civilians and destruction on a massive scale, repeated forced displacements, intolerable, dehumanizing rhetoric and threats by Israel's leadership to empty the Strip of its population, also constitute elements of the most serious crimes under international law.
On Tuesday, Israeli forces acknowledged opening fire as people headed towards a distribution hub in Rafah. Gaza health officials, the Red Cross, and the UN Rights Office said 27 people were killed. Witnesses blamed Israeli forces. Ala Ali is a displaced Palestinian.
Honestly, there isn't a single centimeter in the Gaza Strip that's truly safe. But some areas are relatively safer than others. The Israelis call it a safe zone, but in reality, it's not. Every day or two, you see them hitting a tent here or a house there, even a person in a car. There's no safe place in this country.
Israel's military said it fired near people it described as suspects and is looking into reports of casualties. The FBI says the man accused of setting fire to people at a march in Boulder, Colorado, had been planning the attack for a year. 45-year-old Mohammed Soliman, who was accused of targeting supporters of Israel, has been charged with a hate crime. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
The suspected act of terrorism, carried out with a makeshift flamethrower, took place on Sunday afternoon at a weekly rally in support of the Israelis still being held hostage by Hamas. Authorities say 45-year-old Mohammed Solomon spent a year planning the attack and told them he would do it again. The Department of Homeland Security claims Solomon was in the US illegally, having stayed after his work visa expired. President Donald Trump posted on social media that acts of terrorism will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and suggested the suspect should be deported. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
The Trump White House is asking Congress to cancel more than $9 billion in previously approved spending, taking aim at foreign aid and public broadcasting. In a memo released yesterday, Budget Director Russell Vought said the cuts could target programs the administration calls, quote, antithetical to American interests. That includes funding for the World Health Organization, LGBTQ+ initiatives, clean energy programs, and what it describes as color revolutions abroad. Specifically, the White House wants to slash hundreds of millions from UN peacekeeping, $500 million from global health programs like HIV/AIDS and maternal care, $800 million from refugee assistance, and $125 million from the Clean Technology Fund. This could be the first of several rollback requests headed to Congress. The Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, defended major spending cuts to outraged Democrats and skeptical Republicans at a Senate budget hearing yesterday. Kennedy Cuello reports.
Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, defended the proposed $12 billion budget cut for the Department of Education in the Senate Appropriations Committee Tuesday. The major budget cuts suggest the department's elimination is indeed on the table, but will be a slower process. Ranking Democrat on the Labor, Health and Human Services, Education, and Related Agencies Subcommittee, Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin, focused on the reasoning behind the cuts. She questioned the administration's justification that the cuts are to return the power to the states, saying it is in direct opposition to actions the administration has taken lately.
You claim the administration's goal of eliminating the department is about returning education to the states. At the same time, this administration is attempting to exert more control than ever over the decisions in our schools and campuses. This includes demanding that states certify that they are not implementing DEI, which the department purposefully left vague so it could cut off funding whenever it chooses.
The proposed budget would eliminate TRIO, a collection of programs to help low-income, first-generation, and disabled college students succeed in university. The funding changes are part of a larger budget request for the 2026 fiscal year. For KPFA News, I'm Kennedy Cuello.
And I'm Teresa Wierzbianska for Pacifica Radio.